Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the media, and welcome to another daily press brief hosted by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service for Tuesday, 1st May 2012. I'll now proceed to give you some information. Around 6 p.m. on Thursday, 26 April 2012, officers of the Organized Crime, Narcotics and Firearms Bureau were on inquiries at Eastern Main Road, Aruca, in the vicinity of Trin City Central Road, when they had cause to stop a motor vehicle, a Nissan B14, driven by a 25-year-old man of Champlain and occupied by a 31-year-old man of East Grove, Valsane, and also a 34-year-old man from Bonaccord, Tobago. A search was carried out of the vehicle and 6 bales of plant material resembling marijuana were found and seized. The men were arrested and charged for the offense of trafficking in a dangerous drug. The weight of the marijuana was 45 kilograms with a street value of $5,688,000. The men appeared before the Arima Magistrate Court on Monday, 30th May 2012 and were remanded on bail. That is the end as it relates to the crime brief. And at this time, we just want to address an issue, and it relates to recent developments in cyber crimes. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, in its proactive approach, would like to educate the public on some of the ways offences are committed with the use of a digital device. It must be noted that any offence that is committed with a digital device will be classified as a cybercrime. Secondly, all traditional offences can be committed with a digital device, for example, bullying, harassment, drug trafficking, just to name a few, which can be committed with a digital device. This morning, we will seek to address 2 of the offenses, namely hacking and harassment. Hacking, the definition for hacking, that is gaining unauthorized access to a computer system or network. The Computer Misuse Act 86 of 2000 is one of the laws which seeks to address that issue of hacking, and it simply states, a person who knowingly and without authority causes a computer to perform any function for the purpose of securing access to any program or data held in that computer or in any other computer commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $15,000 and to imprisonment for 2 years, and in the case of a second or subsequent conviction, to a fine of $30,000 and to imprisonment for 4 years. The other offense we want to highlight is harassment. And this is the use of the internet or other electronic means to stalk or harass an individual, a group of individuals, or an organization. Harassment of a person includes alarming the person or causing the person distress by engaging in a course of conduct such as 1. Following, making visual recordings of, stopping or accosting the person, watching, loitering near or hindering or preventing access to or from the person's place of residence, workplace, or any other place frequented by the person. 3. Entering property or interfering with property in the possession of the person. 4. Making contact with the person, whether by gesture, directly, verbally, by telephone, computer, post, or in any other way. The Offences Against the Person Act, Digital Harassment, 11 of 2005, Section 30 seeks to address this. A person who pursues a course of conduct which amounts to harassment of another and which he knows or ought reasonably to know amounts to harassment of the other is guilty of an offence and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $2,000 and to imprisonment for 6 months. As we go along, we're going to continue to educate the public as it relates to offenses that can be committed using a digital device. That's our first part series, so we highlighted this morning harassment and hacking. So as we go along, we like persons to take stock and be reminded of the laws which seek to address these offenses. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We now open the floor for any questions that you may have.
Morning, Sarge.
Morning.
You made mention of the cybercrime and harassment and hacking you highlighted on today. it was late last year, early this year, there was the incident of a one Miss Janice Thomas, who would have sent some threatening emails to one of my colleagues at the Express. The police said that because the emails were not sent from the same computer on more than one occasion, there could not have been any criminal charges to be laid against said Janice Thomas. Could you enlighten us on this rule, please?
Well, I'm not too familiar with the case that you mentioned, but I am guided by the Computer Misuse Act of 86 of 2000, which simply says that a person knowingly and without authority causes a computer to perform any function for the purpose of securing access to any program, and also in relation to the harassment, the digital harassment offenses against the Persons Act, which will indicate the conduct of a person as it relates to sending emails, making contact with a person, whether by gesture, directly, verbally, by telephone, computer, post, or in any other way. So the law is clear as it relates to those offenses.
It does not have to occur more than one occasion for it to be harassment.
If it doesn't have to?
It does not have to occur on more than one occasion, as in she can do or he can do it once and it will be deemed harassment. Or does it need to happen more than one occasion?
At least 2 occasions.
At least 2 occasions.
Yes.
So the first time will be deemed a nuisance?
Well, you know, sometimes we make mistakes, and sometimes you do something once and you learn from your mistake and you move along, but something being done twice could eventually end up into a habit.
And the whole issue of it being done twice from differing computers, is that an issue at all?
No, the issue is the amount of times it's done.
And not necessarily the computer?
Yes.
Okay. Also, on the same cybercrime issue, has anyone in recent times, because cybercrime seem to be creeping up and getting more and more to the forefront, and specifically the press briefing as well, has anyone been arrested, brought before the court for any one of the many cybercrimes that we would have in our law books?
Not in recent time, but what I can tell you is that we have a lot of offenses that is engaging the attention of the cybercrime unit, and they are conducting. It's something that needs extensive inquiries because you want to ensure that this is the person. So it have a number of cases that is before the cybercrime unit, which they are investigating. So hopefully we'll see some results coming.
And my last question on this issue is that I think it was either a couple of weeks ago, I was being told of pictures being circulated on Facebook and other social networks of a young man with a young woman who is holding illegal firearms. We know it's illegal because neither of them are police officers, as well with some marijuana as well within the pictures. What, if any at all, can the police use with that whole pictures to charge these persons if they are found? So if I'm posing in a picture with a firearm, what offense did I commit?
Well, firstly, the police officers, once they're in possession of those pictures, will conduct a number of investigations that will lead to any conclusions at the end. So it's kind of premature for me to say if that will be an offense as by itself. So there must be a series of inquiries and investigations that must be conducted to link.
So if you have the photos where you don't have the actual weapons itself, there is no possession of arms, no possession of marijuana, no cybercrime, nothing that could be done?
Well, generally because, you know, evidence is one of the key factors in bringing
the pictures.
Yes.
Okay. And going back to the issue of the marijuana, if possible, could we get the names and ages and addresses of these men who would have appeared in court yesterday? In
relation to what?
The marijuana, or the 5-point-something million you made mention of, who would have appeared in a Rima Magistrates Court yesterday. Could just be furnished with the name, age, and address of this person.
Okay.
Good morning.
Morning.
You mentioned the penalties for persons who have been charged for harassment, but what about hacking? What are the penalties if you're charged for hacking?
Hacking on first conviction, a fine of 15,000 and to imprisonment for 2 years. And second or subsequent conviction to a fine of 30,000 and to imprisonment for 4 years.
prevalent would you say is cyber crime on a whole in Trinidad these days?
It's a growing trend right now.
Okay, and how successful is the TTPS in catching these people?
Well, as I mentioned yesterday, our cybercrime unit that is highly trained and they maintain high standards as it relates to international best practices. They are, overworked. When I mean overworked, in the sense that they have a lot of cases coming to them, and they're working feverishly to get on top of it and to make the necessary arrests. So a lot of work is being done by the cybercrime presently because we live in a digital world now, and you find that, as I mentioned earlier, that your traditional crimes, for example, like somebody asked me, how can somebody traffic drug over the internet? And it's simple. So it's a traditional crime where persons are not taking chances in the traditional form to actually traffic drugs. So they're actually going on the internet. They'll have what you call encrypted messages where on coded passes where persons can access that and will have the information as to where to go and that kind of thing. So anything that can be committed traditionally can be committed on the internet. So we're looking at that.
And in comparison with like first world countries, how sophisticated is our equipment here in Trinidad, cybercrime, for dealing with these situations?
Well, as I mentioned before also, we have a team of officers who have been trained by some of the best in the world. And those persons are up to par. So I can safely say that we are head on or side by side with
and
international
our equipment
partners.
that we work with, how sophisticated is that?
The equipment is sophisticated.
Would you say that you all have a shortage, because you said that they're overworked, so is it that there's a shortage in terms of the staff at the cyber units?
Well,
at the moment?
more is always better. So you find that the volume of work that is coming in order for us to be efficient and in order to have meaningful investigations, there's nothing wrong with saying that we need to beef up our staff.
Sarge, one quick thing on the whole cybercrime issue. You're a user of Facebook, and there's this app of poking. It may be deemed funny, but is that or can that be categorized in any form or fashion as cyber bullying or cyber harassment or anything like that?
Not necessarily, but I've been reliably informed by one of our experts that the whole aspect of tagging, we know the aspect of tagging. A lot of people will tag pictures without their authorization. So sometimes you may be on Facebook and you suddenly see yourself, you probably went to a function and you see yourself suddenly appear on Facebook. It is said that persons who are tagging one another need to get authorization or permission from the person if they want to tag that person picture.
But there's nothing illegal about it.
Well, the whole aspect of having permission, protecting your rights, you'll have the right to know that, to say, well, okay, I will want my picture here. I will not want my picture here. Those are simple integrity issues that needs to be addressed.
But not illegal.
No.
Sergeant Meister, two things, right? What's up with the investigations into the alleged police shooting with Atiba Duncan and the 14-year-old boy in Diego Martin? Any updates?
No further updates. Information will be forthcoming soon, but the investigation is still going on.
And what about with Ian Allen and him being arrested at TV6? Any further word into that?
Well, you will have as much information as I have as it relates to he being before the court, as it relates to those offenses. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for attending another Daily Press Brief. We look forward to see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Again, continue to partner with us as we reduce crime and enhance security and safety in Trinidad and Tobago. Have a blessed day.